Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the 3 p.m. session. This is the last session of the day, but we have a full day of great presentations scheduled for tomorrow also. I hope everyone has enjoyed their GIS day and the webinars, and we're very happy to be able to provide this for this year. Unfortunately, not being able to meet in person, but hopefully we'll be able to do this next year. I'd like to introduce Peter Thompson. He's from Duncan Parnell, and he'll be talking about field maps. And so without further delay, I'm going to turn it over to Peter.
All right, thank you. All righty, so welcome. Thank you guys for attending. We're going to take a look at ESRI's ArcGIS field maps, and really what we're going to be doing is taking a look at field maps versus collector and some of the more traditional ESRI suite of apps. So I am Peter Thompson. I'm actually located in the Charlotte area. I handle our utility mapping solutions for Duncan Parnell in North and South Carolina. Hopefully everybody here is familiar with Jim Robeson, who covers Florida. A little background on Duncan Parnell. We were founded in 1946. We are still family owned. We have, I think this number of 170 employees is actually an old number. I think we're up over 200 at this point. So we cover the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic, including Tennessee. We've got 15 branches, and of course our web store is nationwide. Here's a quick view of our territory. In 2019, we actually acquired GPServe in Florida to add Florida to our territory. So that was a great acquisition for us. We're really happy to have everybody from GPServe on board, including Jim Robeson, which hopefully everybody here knows. Not only do we do geospatial solutions, but we do 2D, 3D printing as well, including signs and graphics. And then, of course, everybody should know us for being a Trimble dealer in this area. So this is really the heart of what at least Jim and I do, and most of the folks from formerly GPServe do as well. And then we've got a building point division for construction. So again, our agenda, we're gonna get into an intro to ArcGIS field maps, what it looks like, what's new, what's coming. We're kind of in a fun in-between phase where we were in beta up until early this month, and we've moved out of the first round of beta, and we're now into a live version of field maps with additional beta testing coming. So again, field maps versus ArcGIS collector. We'll take a quick look at the field maps web app, and then we're going to do a demo of what Duncan Parnell is currently offering with an inspection workflow with Explore/collector and Survey 123. And then we'll take a look at what that same solution looks like with field maps, and then hopefully we'll do some Q&A. So I've done this presentation, or a version of this presentation, twice, and we got a lot of great feedback. Ended up with a lot of great questions, so feel free to submit your questions as we go along. We've got plenty of time. This session goes till 5, and I'm happy to answer questions as we go along. So some of the key benefits of field maps, it's a single app to deploy and learn. We're really streamlining the office or the field process for data collection, survey workflows. So sign in once, no flipping between apps, no duplication of content, smaller app footprint on your device, which is really nice. And then it's going to provide consistency across all apps. So the current ESRI mobile ecosystem, you've got collector for field data collection. Survey 123 is used for forms and more surveys. I know that's in the name, but Survey 123 is not necessarily used for geospatial data collection, more so for attribute or form collection. Workforce is an application for managing work orders, managing workflows that incorporates both collector, Survey 123. Navigator is a paid app that gives navigation capabilities with those additional apps. Explore is like Collector without the ability to do updates on attribution or geometry, but it does have markup capabilities, which is really nice, and one of the big things that Field Maps has incorporated. And then Tracker, again, is a paid app, but it allows to track movement of workers out in the field. So why the evolution of Field Maps? Like I said earlier, we're really simplifying it. We're taking 5 core apps from ESRI and boiling them down into one easy to use app. So we're going to leverage key features from each of those individual apps into one app. So Field Maps is starting on the code base of Collector. So many of you probably have already installed Field Maps. Like I said, it's now live. The first round of beta is over, so you can download it yourself, and you're going to see that it looks very, very similar to Collector. So it's going to maintain all the capabilities of Collector, but incorporating a lot of those capabilities from additional apps. The first capability that's going to be added from additional apps is markups from Explorer, and then the schedule and sync capabilities. So more is going to be coming down the line, which we'll discuss further. So with Field Maps, you're going to be able to view maps just like you would in Collector Explore, collect and update data, record and share tracks. These gray items are future items coming up, so you're going to receive and complete work order assignments. Those are like you would have in the Workforce application, and then turn-by-turn navigation like you have in Navigator. So the web app is the back office web app still running in ArcGIS Online or Portal. Really simplifies map deployment, allows you to configure and deploy maps, manage offline content, create and preview smart forms. So to me, the biggest advantage right now of Field Maps is smart forms. So you can really do a lot of great things with attribution and form integration with Field Maps to allow for all kinds of field manipulation, which we'll get into in a minute. And then again, coming dispatch and manage work orders, which is again part of that workforce, which is not quite there yet. So what does Field Maps look like? It looks just like Collector. It's extremely similar. The web app is going to look significantly different from anything that you've seen in the past with ArcGIS Online. Kind of takes that beta web map that we've seen in ArcGIS Online, kind of sitting there encouraging us to use. So there's some, it looks similar to that, but it's its own unique workflow. It's very simple, easy to use, allows for great configuration for the web map. So Field Maps is going to be supported on iOS and Android. The support for Windows is still to be determined. Really, the big bulk of ESRI's field users are iOS, with quite a few Android as well, and not very many Windows users. So right now they are fully supporting iOS and Android. I would be surprised if Windows 10 will be supported in the future. Definitely not Windows Mobile, because that's been discontinued. So really, Field Maps is going to be incorporating Explore, Tracker, Collector, Workforce, and Navigator. The core apps that are going to be remaining are Survey 123, Quick Capture, Mission, Indoors, and Earth. So those are apps that will not be changing. They are not going to be incorporated in Field Maps. They're going to be their own standalone applications as they currently are. Collector will be phased out. It's going to be a two-time phase out. We don't know when that time is coming yet. We'll be notified at least six months in advance of when that occurs. The first portion of that phase out program is when support has been discontinued, and then phase 2 will be the complete retirement of Collector. But again, I think we're still a ways away from that, and again, we'll get a 6-month heads up before that phase out even begins. So Field Maps has gone through, it's going through beta. We have completed beta 1, and we are now in beta 2, with beta 3 coming further along. So I'm not going to actually read all this to you. I'll let you take a look at it. But this is where we are. We've checked off most of these boxes from beta 1, and we are now starting into beta 2, and then of course beta 3 is coming down the line. So some of the functional improvements: battery optimization for location tracking. That's really nice. Again, that navigator, turn-by-turn navigation being integrated is going to be huge. I can't speak enough about how markups is now going to be incorporated, so everything under one nice app. The advanced symbology and arcade, really going to start leveraging more and more arcade moving forward. So if you're not familiar with arcade as a program language to use in ArcGIS Online and portal, I highly recommend it. It's all built on Python, but gives you a lot more capability with some smart symbology, some smart pop-ups and things of that nature. We have group layer annotation, a GPS rotating use a rotating compass, which will be really nice. And again, the directions will use Google Maps and Apple Maps. So how will this roll out? Well, Field Maps is currently live. So earlier this month, we left beta 1. So the phased beta program will continue into Q1 of 2021. And we expect Field Maps to be fully out of beta in Q1 of 2021. And again, Survey 123 is going to be its own standalone app still. So what happened with phase 1? So basically, the core of Field Maps was developed, again, off of the code for Collector. And phase 2 is going to be the workforce coordination. So that's going to be really kind of tying everything together. And then the final phase will be that turn-by-turn navigation. So what is Duncan Parnell doing to prepare for this? Well, we've been part of the beta program since the announcement. So we're early adopters. We've been actively engaging with our clients really to see what they want to see, how we can help support the transition from Collector to Field Maps. And I say Collector because, frankly, the majority of our customers are actually primarily on Collector. We do have folks that are using the other apps as well, probably Survey 123 being the next biggest outside of Collector. But being that we are in the GNSS business, the core of our customers are concerned with the Collector portion of that. So we're getting out in front of this. We really want to be able to support our customers as we move into this new realm for ESRI field data collection. And we want to be experts outside of ESRI to support our customers. So we really got out in front of it and did that. So again, we're dipping our feet into it. What we're doing first is smart form incorporation. That's what I'm going to show you today, is more so the smart forms than anything else. The workflow that we're going to demo today is a leak inspection for a gas company. So we're going to be inspecting gas meters and doing a full leak inspection form. First, we'll be doing it in the Explore Survey 123 world, and then we'll be doing it in Field Maps. So again, we're going to grow and learn with ESRI. We can't wait to start incorporating workforce and turn-by-turn support. So some of the technical questions looking ahead. Branch versioning is currently available even in Collector, but it's only in that offline workflow where you're checking out a work area, working offline, checking it back in. It works like traditional versioning you'd see in an SDE, but future versioning is coming. We'll have the underlying runtime should support connected versioning in future releases. So we got that directly from ESRI. That's to be expected. The versioning is going to happen in Portal ArcGIS Online environment. So no versioning is going to be handled on the mobile apps, which is really nice. All of that will be done basically in the office, and then you'll go out to the work and then come in and check your work back in, essentially. So improvements we expect in the coming year. So we do expect support for network tracing, attribute rules, which is something I'm really excited about, and then contingent values for forms is pretty soon coming, from what I understand. So the big one for us is GPS support. We're going to see improved GNSS support because Field Maps has the Trimble SDK built into it. So we'll be able to control your R series devices and your Trimble Catalyst devices. The biggest one is orthometric heights are now supported. It's been a real headache, not just for Collector, but all mapping apps not supporting orthometric heights. So we're really excited about that now being supported. You'll be able to publish a Z-enabled geometry, Z-enabled feature class, collect, and then that Z value will actually be orthometric, which is really, really nice. Not something that was able to be done in Collector previously. Time-dependent transformations are going to be available. And like I said, support for the R series and Catalyst, which are the flagships for Trimble mobile data collection. So again, continued support for those arcade expressions really allows for those dynamic fields, dynamic pop-ups. Right now, the way to see your orthometric heights in both Collector but also Field Maps is through an arcade expression that's essentially pulling that Z geometry and then showing it within a pop-up. So that's just one example of an arcade expression that's really valuable for those dynamic fields and pop-ups. Required fields, I believe required fields are now available in the latest release. When I first wrote this presentation, it was still being worked on, but I believe required fields are now supported. And then again, attribute rules and contingent values are coming. But a big one, GPS metadata is only going to be collected when using a GNSS receiver. So if you digitize something, or if you just collect a point with your device, your iPad, iPhone, Android device, GPS metadata will not be collected. So your vertical, horizontal accuracy, your altitude, your device, your receiver, serial number, etc., will not be collected unless you're actually using a receiver, which is a really nice change. I think it's going to really help clean up some data moving forward. So support for Windows 10 has not completely been ruled out. I think it's should be unexpected, and it again will not be supported with Windows Mobile, Windows CE. One thing that will be supported, expected coming soon, is ArcGIS Pro is going to have full Collector functionality in the future. So this means you can pair your GNSS receiver with your Windows 10 device and do data collection within ArcGIS Pro. So all of those nice features from Collector should be available in Pro. So this is one of the reasons I don't expect Windows 10 to be supported for Field Maps, because you're going to have this Pro capability just like Collector. So that's the boring PowerPoint portion. We're going to go ahead and dive into a demo. So we're going to hope that I'm still connected to my mobile device. So I'm just using an iPad here. Yes, we're still connected, so good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and launch Explorer. So again, the first demo that I'm gonna show is our current workflow that we're offering customers with Collector and Explorer with Survey 123 for a gas leak inspection. So this is a kind of simple gas utility. This is just demo data in Naperville, Illinois. So any of you that know ESRI data, Naperville should be fairly familiar to you. Before we really dive into it, let me explain kind of the reason we went with what we did. So the reason we're having Explore rather than Collector for these inspections is because we're not actually changing any attribution on the meters, and we definitely don't want to change geometry. So this is a copy of a solution that we provided a customer in South Carolina. The folks that were doing their inspections are not GIS folks. They're actually hired contractors that will be going out and that actually went out and did the inspection. And the big thing is we didn't want them to have any access to edit the GIS data. This particular customer, their entire data is stored on ArcGIS Online, so that is their parent data. So we did not want these contractors to have any access to that. Another thing that the customer really wanted is you can see we've got red and green meters here. So if I zoom in and I click on this red meter, you can see it's saying that the meter has not been inspected or it needs inspection, and the inspection frequency is 3 years, and it shows the last inspection date. If I click on the green meter, you can see the last inspection date was in September of this year. The inspection is current and it's being inspected every 3 years. So residential meters for this system are inspected every 3 years. Commercial meters or meters for businesses are inspected annually, and that's on a rolling basis. And one thing that the customer really complained about, that all previous inspection solutions that they had, there was no visual way to tell if a meter had been inspected. So we decided we were going to go with a red and green schema, whereas if a meter's been inspected, it turns green. If it has not been inspected, it remains red. So the best way for us to do this was to write a Python script that runs within Pro that actually checks the survey 123 surveys against the meter to see when the meter was last inspected. So this is run 3 times a day for the customer, and if a meter has been inspected, it will turn to green. After 3 years, that meter will automatically turn back to red, and the inspection status will turn from inspection current to needs inspecting. So we're going to go ahead and inspect this red meter here, this 3960. So the way this is going to work for the customers, they're walking down the street, they get to a meter, and they say, they click on it, they get the really immediate, simple information they need to know. But then there's a simple question: is there a leak? Yes or no. So we've got these little buttons. For our purposes, we're going to go ahead and say yes, there's a leak. And what's going to happen is we're bringing up the survey 123 form. And then we're going to push as much of the data from that meter as we can to the survey 123 form. Within the solution that we built for the customer, we were also able to inspect valves, meters, and service lines. For this inspection, for this demo purpose, we're only inspecting meters, but that's going to explain why some of the questions that you're going to see in here. So we're going to automatically default, is the location accessible? Yes. The inspection date is going to default to the minute I click on that explore attribute that says yes, there's a leak. The inspected feature is going to default to meter. Had I clicked a valve, it would default to valve. Had I clicked a service line, it would default to service line. The asset type, since this is a customer meter, it's going to be customer. If it were a commercial meter, it'd be commercial. And then the asset ID is automatically going to carry through. Frequency automatically is going to carry through to third every 3 years or annual. And since I click yes, the leak detected, it's going to automatically pick yes. So we really wanted to eliminate as much button pushing as possible for the leak inspectors. The fact that we did that, we were able to cut down their annual leak inspection by 3 weeks this year. So that's a huge savings for them, especially since they were contracting that service out. They were extremely happy with that. So location of the leak, we're going to say inlet. Again, it can be anything. They have a grade of 1, 2, 3. We're going to say it's a 2, so or a repair is needed. We're going to say there's an odor. It's detected by odor. Collecting in the soil. Probable source, so it's going to automatically go to meter set since we clicked on a meter. Of course, it could be other. We can change it to a valve if that were the case. We're going to say clay is the soil type. Part of system, again, it's going to automatically go to meter. And then pressure, we're going to say operating pressure. Surface on the lawn. Leak course, it should say leak cause, but leak causes corrosion. So all of these questions came from a paper form that this utility has been using for many, many years. So we just took that paper form, digitized it, essentially made it available in Survey 123. Gas percent, these are values that I'm really not sure what they represent. So we're just gonna put some random numbers in here since this is not real data. And we can say remark, we say corrosion at inlet. So then they have to make the condition, condition has to be made safe. Yes. Again, date and time, we'll default it to today. So we have the, this is something that we really liked with this solution, is this came from that form, and we're able to actually draw on this meter to kind of say where leaks are occurring. And then this becomes an attachment moving forward that you can see within ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Online / Portal, whatever you happen to be using. We can attach a picture. So we'll just trip you guys out with this this mirror effect. I'm taking a picture of my screen. And then we can do an inspector signature. And it's automatically going to take the location of the leak. So then I just hit the check mark and I'm going to send now. So the only downside with this solution is that Python script does not run automatically. So they're running it first thing in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evening. And then so theoretically, when this script would run, say at 5 o'clock, this meter would turn from red to green, and then it'll be shown as having been inspected. So that is the workflow that we've got for Explore / Survey 123. Now, again, Survey 123 is not going anywhere, but I wanted to show the same, basically the same workflow with field maps and those smart forms. So what you're looking at here is a very similar data set. As a matter of fact, it's the same data set, but now this is field map. So you're going to see, if we come back out of here, go to the beginning of field maps, again, it looks a lot like collector. Setting up all of your profile settings just like collector. Your location provider and profile, again, those are extremely important if you're using a GNSS receiver, which I'm not because I'm inside. The GPS just typically doesn't work inside. It's a real bummer. But I'm going to go ahead and launch this field maps demo. And again, we're in the same location. We see the same red and green schema that we had before. So I'm going to click on this meter here, and it's going to look a little different because, you know, this is not Explore anymore. What we're doing here, instead of using a Survey 123 form, and we're using the same Survey 123 form for all assets, we're doing relationship classes so that we can actually have a direct relationship to those meters. To change the colors, unfortunately, we cannot symbolize based on a related table. So we still have a Python script that's going to cycle through the related table and update the date that that these meters have been inspected. I will demo that because this is a much smaller data set, so it should move quite a bit faster. So what I'm going to do, you see, has this meter been inspected? No. So I'm just going to click on leak inspection. And again, we're going to open that related table. I'm going to expand it, excuse me. So the inspector, I'm going to say it's me. So now we have conditional formatting, but now I haven't updated this, but we now have, we have required fields that are available now. We've always kind of had required fields that you could set by having a no null value available. So that would force a requirement, but now we have a more required field. We can also have default values now, which I don't have set here. So the inspection date, again, we're gonna make it today. Location, is the location accessible? So you can carry domains over from your relationship class. So yes, or your relationship table. So leak status, is the leak detected? If I say no, nothing's gonna happen because again, we have conditional formatting. But we're gonna go through the process and say, yes, we have a leak. So now all of those questions that we had on that Survey 123 form are gonna pop up here. So location of leak, I think we called it inlet last time. Grade, again, we have domains available. So it's the exact same questions we had before. Instead of being radial buttons to push, it's just a pick list. Detected by, I think we said odor last time. Collected, let's just say in the air this time for the heck of it. Probable source, meter set, oh, excuse me, meter set. Soil type, around where I am, it's nothing but clay. Leak cause is corrosion. Here we've got those percentage numbers that I have no idea what they actually represent. I need to ask the customer. Maybe somebody on here knows. He thinks I'm not really intelligent. All right. Asset information, again, part of system, meter, pressure. We're going to say it's operating pressure, surface, lawn, and then completion. Is condition made safe? Yes. Date and time made safe today. And then we have a place for additional remarks. So remarks go here. Done. Up at the top here, we can take a photo. I'm not going to put you guys through that misery again. Then I just go ahead and hit submit. So this is going to go ahead and submit it. Again, we didn't change any attribution on the actual meter. We didn't change any geometry on the meter. We simply completed we essentially added a row to that relationship table. So what I'm going to do is launch Pro here, and I have this script that we're going to run really quickly to run now. Maybe we'll run it. There we go. So I'm going to run this script now. It's going to update that. It's going to update those meters. So in the meantime, I'm going to go to arcgis.com. And all I'm going to do is pull up a web app that we've got built for this solution, so that you can see just what that data looks like once it's been done. So hopefully by the time I've got the web app launched, that script will be finished. It's not quite finished yet. So if you recall, I believe we did this meter here. It's still red. So let's hope this thing runs pretty quick. You know, I'm just buying time to get to 3:45. So we'll see how long this takes. It doesn't take but a few minutes last time I ran it at the most. So hopefully it should go by pretty quickly. But what we can do in the meantime, we can click on a meter. Again, this meter has been inspected. It automatically defaults to that, and then we can pull up that inspection record and see that full inspection that was completed. All right, it's been completed. So let's give it a chance to refresh. Now it's been turned to green to yes. So that's exactly what the customer wanted. They wanted to see as meters change colors, or as meters become inspected, they change from red to green. Last time I did this presentation, somebody was really beating me up over why am I writing a script? Why am I not putting an attribute that we can symbolize on based on inspection? And the main reason being is we did not want the inspectors to be able to touch the attribution of the meters. We want them to be able to see the attributes of the meters, but we did not want them to be able to edit the attributes of the meters. So that's the reason for the Python script running in the background. So again, pretty straightforward, pretty good stuff. Really excited about field maps and what all it entails. Believe it or not, it's not too late to become an early adopter. That sounds kind of crazy since the field maps is now live, but there are additional beta projects going on. They're continuing to evolve field maps. So if you want to join the early adopters, maybe a late early adopter, we'll call it, you can certainly do so with that QR code or that link. I'll give you just a second to take a look at that. We can always go back to it if somebody types in a question that they'd like to see it. And then now we're going to open up to questions. Here's my contact information if you have any direct questions for me, but really the one that I want you guys to know is Jim Robeson, who handles GIS mapping sales in Florida. So with that, see if we've got any questions.
We do have one existing question. If anyone has a question they'd like to ask Peter, please type it in the questions box and we will read it. The question we have right now is, what is the ESRI feature that Duncan Parnell is most looking forward to using?
The one that I am most looking forward to using is the smart forms that I showed. Just because I love Survey 123, I really like Survey 123 as a solution, but for the solution that we put forward for this inspection, I like not having to flip between apps. And one of the key benefits of Survey 123 in my mind is the conditional formatting, required fields, and default values. So having all that smart attribution and smart fields, conditional fields, something I really like. Also orthometric heights. Orthometric heights have kind of been my baby for the last 2 years. So to see it actually be available now is something I'm really excited about. So it's two answers to one question.
Okay, great. We have a couple more questions.
Sure.
The next one is, can you create points, lines, and polygons within the Field Maps app?
Absolutely. So Field Maps is built off of Collector. So every functionality that you had in Collector is going to be available in Field Maps. I didn't demo everything. I just demoed a very narrow solution that we've got, and that solution just didn't involve any data collection. But absolutely, points, lines, polygons, just like you would in Collector, will be done in Field Maps.
Very cool. So the next question is actually a request, and was hoping that you could put the scan code back on the screen.
Absolutely.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Now's your chance.
Going easy on me.
Okay, it looks like, well, it is the end of the day. We may have a little bit of webinar fatigue happening. I'm sure that anyone that has any follow-up questions can contact Peter. So I guess we'll wrap it up there, and I just wanted to thank everyone for joining the last webinar of the day, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you again, Peter. That was great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.